What is up, gamers? It is Gio here with my buddy Bored Gamer. Bored, say what's up, man.
Hello, what's up?
Yes, make sure you guys check him out. He is my buddy. I'm gonna have his channel in the description, so make sure you guys check it out. But today we are going to talk about the oh so talked about VR. We're going to try to cover every VR that we know about headset, from the bad ones to the good ones, or not necessarily bad, but not as high quality as some of the ones you may want to get into. So while we go over some of the cardboard ones, and then we could talk about the higher spec ones.
Yeah, so we'll start with, we've got the Google Cardboards, or the cheap knockoffs of that online on eBay, and that range from like $5 to $15. And these are basically ones that you get your smartphone, and you can have quite a weak smartphone, quite a cheap smartphone that will work fine with these Google Cardboard devices. Have you used one?
I haven't used one in particular, but I have seen them in the store. I haven't got a chance to use it because every time I go there, they're usually broke or out of battery or something like that. So I haven't got my hands on that one yet. Yeah,
I mean, it's one of the issues with them is that if you're using a smartphone with VR stuff, your smartphone needs to be robust. The Google Cardboard is not robust, and if you drop it, if you bump into something, if you hit it, you can break your phone. So the reason they're broken all the time is because they're cheap.
Yeah, they are cheaply made. Matter of fact, I heard a story that I think they were giving those away. What was it, with Pizza Hut or something in China? They were just like giving them away. So that, I find that funny. And then even McDonald's is even talking about giving them away in the Happy Meal. So that's how cheap they are, people.
Yeah, but you can grab slightly more expensive ones for like up to $15, $20 that are made of plastic, and all of them give you a nice entry level of VR experience. You're going to get a nice little taste of what VR can be. But remember that there's not going to be very many experiences available. You are using your smartphone. It's not, although they're getting more and more powerful, even with a powerful smartphone, you're not going to be able to get the best experience available.
Yeah, very entry level. And then the second one we have is the Samsung Gear VR. Now this one is a little higher entry, right, Board?
Yeah, so it's a great kind of next level up for those cheap Google Cardboard headsets. It's developed to be comfortable, to work with your Samsung phone, to give you a much higher level of VR experience. But it's still an entry-level experience. You're still, even with the best, most current Samsung phone, you're still not going to have a proper VR experience. But it's a nice little taster.
Yeah, and I think I just checked the price on this one online. I think it was $100. And even with the newer Samsung devices that are coming out, I think when you pre-order, you even get this one free. So it's good that Samsung is spreading the VR out. So this is like going to be a thing. It gets everybody's hands. So I love that they're helping push the VR train.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good thing. It's nice to get people to see what's available with VR and get some of the experiences there. And if you want a nice midway between like the expensive headsets and something cheap, the Gear VR you can't really go wrong with, but you do need that Samsung phone, I believe.
Okay, now we're gonna hop into some of the big dogs. Now these are the ones that are dedicated devices for VR that need to be powered not by some phone or some cheap like that. These are the big dogs. So first one is PlayStation VR. We just learned about this at GDC, I think it was, Board.
Yeah, so I haven't seen too much about the PlayStation VR and Morpheus and all that sort of jazz. It does excite me from the position that it's a lot cheaper than the other headsets. And it does have a few little extra, well, there's some differences to it. So it's got a lower resolution than some of the other headsets we're going to talk about in a minute. It's only 1080p, but it's got a much higher refresh rate at 120 hertz. And it uses some of that VR tech, the PlayStation Move controllers, as well as the camera, in quite a clever way to make VR for the PlayStation quite social. They're going for a cheaper, more social experience that you can have other people around you in the same room playing a game with you that aren't necessarily on VR as well. They're just watching you or playing Player 2 on the TV with you.
Yeah, and like I said, it's $400, but you need to buy the camera. I think that's like a extra $40 or $50, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Then you got to buy the little controllers on top of that. They said they will be having,
Move,
yeah, they will be having some bundles for it. So my guess, the bundle may be $450 or maybe even $500. there ain't no telling. They haven't released the price on that yet, but you will need all that. My only worry is I'm real curious on how they're going to have 1080p, 120 hertz, and you can't even get that on a regular screen with PlayStation 4. So how is it powering this headset? That's what I'm curious about.
So I mean, I don't think it's beyond the reaches of the technology. I think a lot of stuff has kind of been held back. Consoles have been capping games at 30 frames and occasionally 60 frames in the past, and there hasn't been really a need or reason to have high refresh rates with consoles. But VR, you need it. You need at least 90 hertz. You want more, and so that you don't feel sick. And I love the fact they're pushing boundaries with this. I like the fact that this might revolutionize some of the console-based stuff.
Yeah.
And even if you buy that PlayStation 4 console and the headset, it's still going to be cheaper than a lot of the other VR experiences. I mean, it's going to be about the same price as buying just the Vive. You're going to be able to get the headset and a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is a little bit cheaper. I mean, I say cheap. None of this stuff is cheap. It's all hellishly expensive.
Yeah, definitely got to be a baller.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, I forgot it also has a processing unit too to help the PS4, so that may give it a little push. 'Cause I know they're selling this thing at a loss, like big time. Looking at some of the specs on this.
Well, one of the things they talk about with all of the VR headsets is they're basically treated like consoles now. They're selling them as if they were their own individual console. And a lot of the time with consoles, they sell them at a loss because they're making money licensing out games, and they want to make money by selling those games to get their IP out there and that sort of stuff. So it is important that we treat them like consoles. They're being sold at console prices. I know they're not consoles. I know they're just glorified monitors, but the way that they're looking at them is they're very much console units.
Yeah, you can definitely put, especially like I said, this one it even costs more than the PlayStation sometimes. Because I was about to buy a PlayStation last year. I think I seen like a PlayStation go for like $330, $350. So yeah, this is pricey.
Yeah, definitely more than the PlayStation, especially when you have to price up the, as you said, the camera, the Move as well to get the full experience. It's an expensive thing. It's an expensive thing.
Yeah, and I think I even seen some Rift bundles go for almost $900. So if you're buying a PlayStation and a VR at the same time, I mean, spend an extra $200, you might as well get the damn bundle for the Rift. To be honest.
Yeah, but let's move on to the Rift then, because obviously the Rift is exclusively, effectively, for PC.
Oh, and one more thing before we move on. The PlayStation VR is available in October. They haven't gave a solid date, but October 2016. So it will be available for holidays if you guys are looking forward for that. All right, on to the Rift.
Yeah, so the Rift is effectively PC exclusive, although apparently you're going to be able to stream Xbox games onto the Rift as well.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, they talked about it during one of the conferences, and they said you're going to be able to stream games from your Xbox to your Rift. So we'll have to see exactly how that works and how that's implemented, because it might just be a hacked bodge port, and that won't be no good. But we'll have to see how they implement that. But the Oculus Rift has the earliest release date of the true headsets, available at the end of this month in March.
And March 28th, yeah, that's
when they start shipping. We'll see exactly how many they get shipped then, because I think if you try and purchase an Oculus now, you might be having to wait till June or July.
It's actually July. I just checked. Yeah.
Yeah. So
if you're waiting a while, you might as well just wait for it to get to the store at that point.
But resolution-wise, I mean, this is 2160 by 1200 in each eye, with a refresh rate of 90 hertz. So that's basically what Oculus and Vive decided would be the minimum res and refresh rate to make you feel not sick.
Yeah.
So I haven't used either of these headsets since the DK2, but the Oculus looks very promising to me. It's got that 110 degrees field of vision as well. The DK2 felt like it was a little bit blinkered, but it didn't have that kind of field of view, and apparently that's been fixed more recently as well.
That's good to hear then.
But I mean, price-wise, we're talking $599. But if you lived elsewhere, not in America, you're going to have to pay a lot more because you have to pay taxes, you have to pay shipping. It was incredibly expensive, and it does come with some nice stuff in the box. It comes with some exclusive games. You get Eve Valkyrie and Lucky's Tale. You get an Xbox One controller. You get their audio headset because they're including audio with the Oculus Experience. And you get the sensors and a little remote as well for the VR headset. So you do get a reasonable amount in that package. But it's still really expensive. Really expensive, Gio.
Yeah, you know, when I first seen it, I was kind of shocked. What really got me the most was how long they waited. I mean, that's what pissed me off. It was like the day of release. That's when everyone kind of like found out, like, what? $600? And then you got the Xbox One controller and then the little controller. I think that could have been left out the box to maybe even keep it cheaper. But I'm cool with Eve coming with it and Lucky's Tale. But, I mean, if you think about it, $600 and you look at the specs of it, now I go back and look at it, it's not too bad of a price because you look at some of these monitors nowadays, like the one I want to get is the Asus 34-inch. That's like almost $1,400. Or some of these other 34-inch screens, they're pretty expensive.
Oh, I'm too thrifty for that. I'm too thrifty. I can't justify that kind of expense on a monitor.
Yeah, like I said, and then what was the other one? The Asus 27, I forgot, PQ something. That's a 27-inch with almost kind of like the same specs almost. That goes for, I think, no, well, the refresh rate is a little higher, but that's like $700. So I mean, it's a little bit of give and take. It's all up to the consumer.
So I mean, there are some. I don't actually have the system requirements written down for these, but I'm sure you can enlighten me in a second. There were some issues I had with the Oculus Rift. So it requires 4 USB ports, which is a lot of USB.
That is, and me with all the shit I have hooked up, it's going to be real difficult for me to find a spot for 4 USB ports. I mean, that is a lot to power that up.
Yeah,
I don't know what they were thinking with that.
So one of the common misconceptions with the Oculus is that people think it's just for a sit-down experience or just a stand-up experience. It can track in a 5 by 11 foot area. Which is smaller than the Vive, and we'll come on to that in a minute. But it's perfectly fine for walk around and move around experiences as well, just in that smaller area. So I mean, it's a great looking headset, and obviously it was Oculus were the guys that brought VR back to us. They went, it's been 10 years. Possibly more since VR has been talked about, and now we can do it. Now we can make VR happen, and they kickstarted it, and it was beautiful, and they've made this awesome headset. They got bought by the evil Facebook, but we won't. we don't mind that. We don't mind evil technologies.
Yeah, as long as they don't try to put statuses up on my gameplay, I'm cool.
Do you have the requirements for the Oculus in front of you?
Oh. All right, got them right here. Video card, NVIDIA GTX 970 or AMD R9 290 equivalent or greater. CPU, Intel i5 4590 equivalent or greater. Memory, 8 gigs plus RAM. Video output compatible HDMI 1.3 video output. USB ports, 3 US 3.0 ports plus 1 USB 2.0 port. Then OS, Windows 7 or newer.
So I mean, those requirements aren't too strenuous, but I mean, the graphics card is probably the most expensive thing there. So you need at least a 970 or a 290.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people who still got like a 600 series card. I'm like, yeah, dude, keep dreaming. You're gonna have to step it up.
Yeah, so I mean, there are some cards that have performed really well for a long time, and VR is forcing people to have to buy more expensive rigs and more expensive computers to be able to have that experience. And the barriers to entry to VR are incredibly high. So a lot of people won't be able to experience it in this first generation of technology. And let's make this quite clear. Adopting technology this early on, you pay a premium. You pay a very expensive premium.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, and in 2 years' time, you're going to get a significantly cheaper product that's quite a bit better. So just be aware of that. People are paying a premium to get this sort of stuff earlier, effectively.
Yeah, the patient people, you guys are going to really pay off because, like I said, you're going to get a lower price. It's going to be probably higher tech, wireless, which we'll talk about later. There's one coming out that's wireless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so if you're patient, awesome. I mean, I'm very impatient. I've been wanting to get my hands on this ever since I seen the Kickstarter for the Oculus Rift. So I got to get it now, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. So have we covered the Oculus now? Is there anything else you wanted to say about the Oculus, Gio?
There's also some bundles. I will say this: it's not that hard to build a PC, guys. Do not buy those rip bundles. I think the lowest one I seen was maybe $900, and that's what I was saying earlier. If you're gonna get the PlayStation VR, new PlayStation and headset, you're better off maybe getting that one. But like I said, you could still build your own computer cheaper and get the Oculus Rift. That's my opinion, though. Do whatever you want. That's just my tip. But yeah, we're done with the Rift after that.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the platforms as well afterwards, because the Oculus obviously has the Oculus Store and lots of headsets going to support open source VR. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay. So the Vive's the next one. So I bought a Vive. Gio, did you?
Yes, sir, I did.
So why did you buy a Vive? What specs did it for you? Because the specs look pretty much identical to the Oculus.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. The specs are pretty much identical. But what really sold me was one thing was the camera. I know people don't think the camera is a big deal. That was a big deal for me because I was always going to have to lift up, look at my keyboard. Now I could just hit that.
That's called the chaperone system. So for people that don't know, the chaperone system is going to allow you to have basically reverse augmented reality or reverse VR. So you're going to be able to see the outside world at the touch of a button. And you can set barriers and that sort of stuff around you as well, so that you don't trip over yourself, you don't bump into walls. At a touch of a button, you can see your mouse and keyboard, or HOTAS, or controllers, that sort of stuff. So it's got some really great functionality. Also, the idea is, you don't basically bump into random things, and they'll appear in front of you in like a blue field, so you'll be able to kind of make them out, but you can set that all up so it doesn't break your immersion either.
Yes, that, and I love the notification when like you get a phone call or something like that. I think that was pretty cool to implement that in there. Hopefully one day there'll be something you can implement with Twitch for all the streamers out there. You can see your chat while you're doing a VR game. I thought that was pretty cool too. And then the sensors, I like how the sensors are better on here than the Rift. I think they're a little more higher quality, the way it picks up the controllers and your headset. So that's what kind of sold me, and how open they are on YouTube with the YouTubers and putting it out there like, yeah, here's our device, and Rift got their thing, but we want you guys to actually test it and look at it. And they've been very open with the Vive, so that's what kind of won me over with the Vive over the Rift.
Yeah, so no, I kind of agree. So the Vive for me has a larger area that you can move around in, 15 by 15 foot, and is totally suitable for sit-down experiences as well as moving a larger area experience.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people, that's another misconception. It's like, oh, the Rift is for sit down and the Vive is to stand up and play. No, you could do both on either or.
Yep.
You could sit down with the Vive, or you could stand up and play with it. So that's all up to you.
I mean, one of the things we'll probably talk about in a second is the idea. I'm going to be using the Vive a lot sitting down, because I want to be able to use a HOTAS in Star Citizen or in Flight Sims or whatever with that chaperone system. I want to be able to, if I lose my place where my HOTAS is, I want to be able to see where it is.
Yes, exactly.
And when I switch onto the mouse and keyboard, if I'm going for some first-person shooter action, again, I'm going to need to use the chaperone system to be able to see my keyboard.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not a master at the keyboard quite yet. I can't remember where all the keys are.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just need to glance again at your keyboard, and also you're going to be moving around, and you're not entirely sure where you are in VR. So having that extra functionality, I think, is really, really useful. But like as we said, specs-wise, they're almost identical. Same resolution, 2160 by 1200, same refresh rate, 90 Hertz, same field of view, 110 degrees. People have said that use the Vive Pre, though, that it felt a little blinkered compared to the Oculus headsets. They have said that they've fixed that now in the actual consumer units, but again, I haven't actually physically used one of the consumer units, so I don't know. So take stuff with a pinch of salt.
Yes, me and Boyd will give you guys the real review. We will not hold back.
Yeah, well, indeed. As soon as we actually have the ability to try one, give your opinions on it. But
Yeah, I do want to get a Rift. I would like to get a Rift in the perfect world, but like I said, I'm not going to buy 2 VR headsets back to back. I was trying to get a Rift, but they sold out so quick. I got a chance to get my hands on the Vive though. They sold out a little less quicker, but they did sell out pretty quick still.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you still buy both of these headsets. It's going to take a little while longer for them to manufacture them and get them into your hands. There is basically a waiting list.
Yeah.
But the Vive does have a couple of bonuses in specs compared to the Oculus. So you only need 4 gigs of RAM according to the Vive, and only 1 USB port rather than 4 and 8 gigs of RAM. So with that in mind, I'm not sure if the recommended specs actually mean that much. Because you're surely going to be capped by the game you're playing. In a few months' time, we're going to see games being really scalable. You're going to want to play that game on the highest settings, getting 90 frames a second, hitting that refresh rate. So those recommended specs or those minimum specs, I mean, they don't mean nothing. You're going to need a powerful rigs for your VR experience, and the more powerful your rig, the better experience you're going to have with these headsets.
Yeah, and another plus is the Vive. You have the Steam experience. Like, I don't know how the Oculus Rift store is going to be. No one knows right now. We know how Steam is. We know what Steam's about. It's been here, been there, and all the developers know about it. So it's going to be real easy to get games on Steam and, you know, update them and all that stuff. Everyone loves Steam, of course, on PC. Just about everyone, I should say. Then we know that you could test your VR specs right now on the Vive. If you guys, I forgot the name of the program. You could download it.
Steam Performance VR or something.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks like the Source 2 engine, because it is the Source 2 engine, showing off what is kind of like a prelude to Portal 3. That's amazing demo. That is an amazing demo.
Yeah, so I got high on that. What did you get on it?
Yeah, I got the whatever was Max saying you are good for VR.
Yeah, I'm pretty good for it too. I've been wanting to get a 980 Ti, but I'm gonna wait out for Pascal, because by that time the Pascal cards that come out, I think Squadron 42 will be out, and then you could really push these headsets real good and high quality. So that's what I'm kind of waiting for.
We've got a lot of tech that's coming very, very shortly this year. So we've got the Pascal stuff. We've got new CPUs. We've got new GPUs. We've got a lot of stuff coming. So if you're building a computer for VR now, it's the issue with computers and computer games and stuff. Yeah. Try and wait as long as you can. And if you can just hold out a little bit longer before you upgrade your rig, do that. Because
yeah, I know it's hard. I know it's hard, yeah, because I seen this, like I said, this new 980 Ti. It would look so good in my system. I had to really resist. I'm like, no, Pascal's coming. Just wait.
Oh, so earlier you mentioned that Vive is supported by Steam.
Yes.
So, and now that's true, but Steam is going to be supporting pretty much everything. You're going to be able to play Steam games with the Oculus. You're going to be able to play it with open source VR games.
Okay.
So the Steam VR stuff is going to support a wide range of stuff. The Oculus Store is not. So
that's
the
a bit
Oculus
of a dick
Rift,
move.
Well, I mean, Lucky has been accused of that. But yeah, so it's important to remember that the Oculus Rift is basically going to have more availability to games at the start. It's going to have more games available to it.
Yeah, that's another misconception too.
Well, I mean, that was what we were talking about earlier, wasn't it, with the Vive?
Yeah.
So the Vive is going to have a lot of launch titles. It's going to have 50 from the Steam store.
Mm-hmm.
But the Oculus can also use those launch titles because they're not exclusive to the Vive.
Yeah.
But the Oculus will have exclusive titles.
And the reason for that is because they, like I said, the dev kits were out longer for the Rift. The dev kits didn't come out for the Vive until what, like last year, November, December?
Yeah, the Vive Pros, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be like how Tomb Raider was for Xbox. It was exclusive for like, 2 months, and then it came out. I don't think these games are going to stay exclusive forever on the Rift. It's like a timed exclusive, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, so it's likely that a lot of them will be supported by multiple headsets, at least in like open source VR, or or go to the Vive as well. That's very likely. But Oculus have attempted to go for the kind of exclusives, whereas the Vive have kind of gone for try to be more inclusive, is what I feel anyway.
Yeah, right now, I don't think they should have room to be exclusive right now because both you guys are new and both you guys need to push this market like clean open. Then maybe later on you guys could think of, you know, proving the doubters wrong about VR and letting them see that VR is the real deal. Then you could probably create an exclusive market for your headset, but that's just my opinion.
With that in mind, let's start talking about some of the other headsets that will be available in the not too distant future, starting with the open source VR stuff.
Yes.
So Razer have kind of championed the cause of open source VR. So lots of headsets are likely to support open source VR, and lots of other companies are likely to adopt open source VR as a thing. I believe that Steam VR is also supporting open source VR, which is why so many headsets will be supported. And if you want a cheap headset that is better than the Oculus Rift DK2, then check out the open source VR one that Razer have done, because they're really cheap and they're really, really powerful. And if you're thinking of developing games for VR, open source VR is a good thing to check out.
Yeah, definitely. How much do they go for? They say?
I think you can remove parts. Basically, you build your own dev kit on their website.
Wow, so that's even cheaper than, that's amazing, cheaper than the PlayStation Morpheus.
But you've got to remember, these are developers' kits. They're not consumer-level products. The other ones we've talked about so far are basically consumer-level stuff. Although that said, I mean, they're pretty impressive. They've got like 100 hertz refresh rates. They're really high res. You can basically build your own kit, so you can remove stuff from them, add different optics, and them being open source. That open source not just from the software point of view, but from the hardware point of view as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then the next one that you put me on is the Star VR. Now this one has a field of view of 210, and it's going to be 5K, and then you could also move it with your eyes. Now I didn't even hear about this one.
So rather than move it with your eyes, which is what the Vive does, and we'll come down there in a second, this allows you basically another level of immersion in VR, which is most VR headsets require you basically to move your head and look around. And you actually move your head quite a lot in VR compared to what you would do in IRL, in real life. But with the Star VR, the field of view is so large that you move your eyes around in the headset without moving your head as much, and that much more mimics real life.
Wow.
Because it's 5K as well, it's sickeningly high res. So I'm really excited for that, but we need to see where it's going to go.
What's your guess on how much that's going to cost?
Oh, I don't know. But I might be going to CitizenCon, and we might be going to see the Walking Dead experience, which apparently uses Star VR. So, I don't know.
You said that's during CitizenCon?
Sorry?
You said that's during CitizenCon.
Well, we're going to the experience, which is nearby in Hollywood, I believe.
Well, I may be going with you guys.
yeah, we're organising it. So.
Yeah, we didn't get our tickets, guys, for the subscribers. We missed it. Not even know it was even being on sale, so maybe better luck tomorrow. Okay, and the next one we have is Fove. Now, this one says also has IR tracking eyes and make contact with characters in game.
Yeah, so basically, this is the headset that uses very, very unique technology. I mean, they all kind of do, but this tracks your eyes with infrared sensors so that you can look around, control stuff with your eyes as well, is the idea of it, and it knows where your eyes are looking, so you can make direct eye contact with NPCs and with other players and stuff, and you're aware that you're doing that, which is awesome.
Yeah, but couldn't you do that with the Star VR one though too? Because got the tracking?
No, so it doesn't actually. The Star VR doesn't actually track your eyes. It allows your eyes to move around.
Just the movement. Oh, gotcha.
I mean? So you start to use your eyes more in the Star VR because of its huge field of vision.
See, guys, there's so much competition, so many headsets. You just want to squish them all together and make one awesome headset. You don't know what to pick from.
But that will come in the future. some of this technology, people will go, nah, it's not very good. Other technology will go, yeah, we want the chaperone system with the high refresh rate, with the huge field of view, with the huge res. In a couple of years, we're going to have that in a headset.
Yeah.
They all are going to get smushed together. It's early adoption of technologies. We don't get everything that we want, but the ones that make it through, the ones that are really good, they will slowly get mushed into a single headset or something that's a bit better.
Now look at flat screen TVs. I mean, they started out not too good with plasma, and now we're at OLED and Wi-Fi on and all kind of crazy stuff. So yeah, you could see that going on with these.
I mean, and it's literally OLED, which has allowed this kind of level of VR, I suppose, and that certainly helps anyway.
Yeah. Next VR that we have is the Visis VR. It's a streaming device that basically just uses your smartphone for the display, but the power of your PC to render everything. But the issue at the moment is latency. You said, Bored?
Yeah, so it's got a little bit of a latency between, because it's wirelessly streaming to your mobile phone. And then your phone is then just being used as a display for the headset. So you're literally just streaming. So there is a small latency, which the company says is tiny, but I think it's like 30 milliseconds or something like that, which you wouldn't buy a 30 millisecond monitor or whatever. I think it might be even a bit lower than that. You wouldn't buy a 30 millisecond monitor, though, because it would be too much latency.
Yeah,
for gaming.
It would. So, yeah, it would be a lot, especially for like a Twitch shoot like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty.
Well, indeed. I mean, so that exactly what you've just said there. Some games are not going to be compatible in the way that people want with VR. VR is going to give you an immersive experience. It's not necessarily, and probably not, going to make you better at games.
Yeah.
So people that want Twitch shooters, you're probably going to be better on a mouse and keyboard with your high response rate monitor. But, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure there are going to be some amazing people with VR. So,
yeah, I'm sure I'm going to put it through its paces.
So the last headset that we're talking about majorly here is one I'm actually pretty excited about now. And that's the AMD Sulon Q. So this, do you know much about this?
No, I actually seen it another day. The only headline I really seen was it's going to have like console type graphics, if not a little higher. So I was kind of turned off by that. I was like, ew.
Yeah, so there's some videos about it and where the devs are talking about what it's like, and they say it a couple of times during the video that it's going to have console-like graphics. I think that we need to step away from that. I feel that that's probably a misrepresentation of the product. Basically, this is AMD's solution to VR, and it's tetherless. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we talked about the streaming smartphone one. Apparently, this is absolutely fantastic. You don't notice any latency at all. It's going to integrate Vulkan and DirectX 12 stuff really well. It's going to be 2560 by 1440p, I think, as well, and uses the liquid VR that AMD have to its kind of max. I think it's going to be exclusive to AMD graphics cards, though. Which may be an issue. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think it is. It's a very hardware-heavy piece of kit. It's going to have lots of different VR-based techs in there that are driving it from AMD's point of view, like dedicated APUs and stuff like that. So
yeah, they're gimping themselves with that one.
Well,
now the video's probably going to come out with one too. Now, like, oh well, we got an exclusive one ourselves.
Well, the issue is that we don't know too much about it. I mean, they talked about APU and GPU stuff that's going to be in there and processing units that are going to literally be in the headset. But they didn't really show too much of it. And they've just kind of semi-announced it and gone, oh, look, it's really cool and it's tetherless. So it sounds great. And I do want a tetherless headset, a tether-free headset eventually. I'm not sure if the time is now. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get the refresh rate right and streaming right.
See, in the perfect world, I would love to have, like I said, the Vive to be wireless and wired, because once the battery dies, you're kind of stuck until it's charged, and you could just charge it like a phone and still use it while it's connected. Because that's one of the problems I'm hearing from people is the wires on the Vive, like they kind of trip themselves up sometimes. So wireless would fix that. I just don't think the technology is really there to do that, like that type of streaming thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that we're both presently surprised, and that they go, no, we've got the tech and it's amazing. Because AMD, they are very innovative. I mean, they invented 64-bit processing, so if anyone can do it, it's probably them.
Yeah, they may have some up their sleeves, and there ain't no telling.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, occasionally, I always feel that AMD and Intel and Nvidia, they're always a lot further ahead on tech than they tell us. So I always feel that they might just suddenly go and look at this amazing processor, or graphics card, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they do this here. I mean, AMD recently said that they have the most powerful graphics card available on the market the other day. So hopefully this is the comeback of AMD. They're going to get some amazing processors, amazing VR stuff, and amazing graphics cards. Let's hope. I'd like more competition in the market.
Hey, that's why we told you guys. The longer you wait, the more patience you have, you're going to really benefit off it. Because look at all this tech that's not even out yet that they're talking about. So, like another year from now, say this time next year, you're going to have some boss-ass headsets out, and they're probably going to be like $200-300.
Well, that's the hope, isn't it? That's the dream, that we're going to get a lot cheaper, a lot better tech. I mean, maybe not that cheap, but maybe. Who knows? I don't.
Especially if there's a large market for it. Because right now, a lot of people are not sold on it. But like I said, as soon as the word gets out and everyone is loving this thing, they're going to say, oh, man, I got to get one for myself now.
Yeah. I mean, so all of these headsets, I'm not sure if I'm possibly going to buy multiple headsets. I'm not sure if new headsets came out. I'm not sure if I'd get rid of my old headset and get a new headset. I just don't know yet. So we're going to have to we'll follow the VR trail, but I don't know where it's going to lead us yet.
So we need to be bigger YouTubers, boy, so we can just get free shit and send us for reviews. You know.
Please give free shit.
Free shit to me and Bored. There you go.
Yeah, come on, guys.
We'll give you a nice, honest review.
Yeah, we'll give you nice, honest reviews.
Now the games. Now we don't know. Well, we do know probably off bat that what games will be good for VR, what games may be bad. But here are the list of day one games for Rift. I'll also leave a link in the description for that one and the Vive. I'm not gonna go over all of them. Adrift, Turbo Time. I'm sorry, not Turbo Time. Adventure Time by Turbo Button. Air Mech Command, Albino Lullaby, Audio Arena, Project Cars, which I'm looking very forward to that because I'm about to buy a steering wheel. Chronos, Darknet, Dead Secret, Defense Grid 2, Dreadhalls, Elite Dangerous. I may have to re-download that again, maybe. Esper 2, Valkyrie Founders Pack. I want to see what that game's about. Fly Takuma, Eve Gunjack. I didn't even know about that one. Hero Bound SC, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
That's a great game. That is a great game. I know one of the devs on that.
I never played that.
It's amazing.
Lucky's Tale, aka Tales from Sonic. They ripped that off. Omega Agent, Radile G, Radile, Rooms, Shuffle Puck, Cantina Deluxe VR, Smashing the Battle, Vanishing of Ethan Carter, Vectron Revenge, VR Tennis Online, Pinball FX2 VR, Blaze Rush, and Windlands. So those are the available games at launch for Rift.
See, the only one there I'm excited about is Valkyrie. I've become such a spaceship, space game nut recently, and that's the only one that makes me feel anything.
Wow, on the whole list, huh? I mean,
yeah. I mean, what? Anything they were excited about if you had a Rift?
I guess that's the only exclusive I'm kind of upset that they really have. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I would like to play Lucky's Tale, but like I said, that game doesn't look like a type of game that will work for VR if you've seen the gameplay for it. But I guess I would have to play it to find out. Project Cars, I think that's also coming to VR, so yeah, that's not an exclusive I would look forward to on Oculus.
Yeah, just the only thing there that really that got me excited was Valkyrie. But
yeah, now, and Valkyrie will cost $59.99, so it'll be a regular cost of the game. Let me see. Lucky's Tale says bundle, so it doesn't even have a price for that. Vectron $10. So some of these prices are all over. It's a little bit. Let me see. Assetto Corsa $49.99. Air Mech Commander $40. Audio Arena $10. So the prices are all over. You don't know what you're gonna really get, so it's kind of up to you if you want to catch these on sale or pay full price. I think the sweet spot for some of these VR games is like $30. That'd probably be my sweet price. Some games I may pay 64, like maybe Elite Dangerous or Project Cars, but like some of these other games, I couldn't see myself spending that much money on.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, the other game in general I'm excited for with VR. I suppose I would like to play some Elite Dangerous on the Oculus, as well.
Like I said, I may even download it again because I deleted that a long time ago, so I wouldn't play it again. But who knows? VR may get me back interested in it.
Yeah, we'll give it a go, see what it's like.
Yeah. So I guess that leads us to our next topic with Star Citizen in VR. So, what do you want to see out of this board with Star Citizen?
So, I mean, I have played Star Citizen bodged together on the Oculus Rift DK2 for VR, and obviously it was a proper bodge job. Wasn't proper VR, wasn't native.
And how was your experience with that too, by the way? I forgot to ask you about that.
It was very fun. It was absolutely cool. And I got some relatively good functionality from it. So it was quite a fun experience. You're looking around my cockpit. I had to use a HOTAS with it or a dual stick because otherwise it didn't feel right. And one of the ways I bodged it was putting my head on free look mode, so I couldn't use a mouse and keyboard simultaneously. So you had to use the HOTAS or dual stick. Otherwise it felt weird. So yeah, I mean it was a great experience. Obviously it was, as I said, really bodged together, and a native experience will be a lot better. Now they've said in Star Citizen that they're gonna support all major headsets. Well, they're going to try and support all major headsets. Yeah. So I would expect the Vive, Oculus, and open source VR. So that will probably be pretty much every headset, other than the Morpheus. So yeah, it's hard to say what I want from Star Citizen, from VR, because there's lots of stuff that it's not going to be a pure VR game. It's going to be, and it's VR as well. So we're not going to be able to, or we're unlikely to be able to grab stuff with grabby hands using the VR experience. So
and that's what I'm looking. I want to use the controllers on the Vive to pick stuff, turn switches on. I know that may be pushing it, maybe after launch, but I would love to have that. That's my main thing.
I mean, that would be amazing, but I'm not sure if we're there yet. We've got the Frankfurt office, and a lot of those guys there know what they're doing with VR, and they know the CryEngine backwards. So, I mean, if anyone can do it before game launch, it's them. But I think that adding that kind of functionality, more than just having a VR experience, it's those extra features I'm not sure if we're going to get. I think it will be great. I think it will be relatively immersive, but it's going to be. It's not a game built for VR. It's not going to be like Eve Valkyrie is. Eve Valkyrie is going to be built from the ground up for VR.
Yeah.
This game is built to be an amazing space game, Star Citizen, but it's not a native 100% VR title. And I expect good things from it. I don't think we're going to get the fantasy, pick stuff up with your hands. It's going to be fully motion control supported. You're going to be able to run around your ship properly. I mean, it's going to have some of that functionality, but I'd curb your expectations of it.
Yeah, I already got it in the back of my mind. It may not happen, but man, that'd be so cool. You see like some parts on fire or something, you just go put the fire out and fix it together. Like, oh, that'd be so awesome with those controllers. Yeah,
if you can operate the screens using the VR stuff, literally using your hand. If you can repair parts of your ship with a welding tool in VR. If you can jump out of an airlock, or if you can EVA. It's all about getting that experience to be immersive in VR, and it's just that my worry that won't be as immersive as we want it to be, because we fantasized it. People that want VR and that want Star Citizen combined, they fantasized it as a VR title, as a game that's basically built for VR, and it's not. It's a game that's primarily built not for VR. It will have VR support though, and it will have a good experience. I don't want people to think it's going to be super amazing, the best game ever for VR, because I don't think it will be.
Yeah, guys, don't think like me.
Well, no, it's good to have that. It's good to have that was once. It's just we need to relay what's really important to CIG for that VR stuff. So once we have these headsets, once we have these new headsets, the Vive and the Oculus, we need to play around with them, mess around with them, and then tell CIG what are the most important features for that VR to have the best experience that isn't going to take them another 2 years to put in. Yeah,
because we know Chris definitely's on for the VR. He did a video with that thing on with the whole task, so this like the ultimate experience, especially for me. Like even some of the flight sims, like this is awesome. It's probably the closest I'm gonna get to actually flying a plane is with this VR, so it's gonna be worth every penny for me. But I think we covered all our bases, Bored. The different, like I said, we have the different software platforms or SDKs. You have the Oculus store. What is it called?
So this is something else briefly I wanted to talk about. So some of the headsets have got their own way of doing stuff, and we've got like the Oculus SDK, and that's going to have Oculus Store. So the Oculus software development kit and stuff like that is effectively open source, but you need an Oculus to be able to make use of it. So it's open source, but not truly open source. We've got obviously the Steam VR platform, which is going to be supporting a lot of stuff. So everyone will be able to use Steam VR. Not everyone's going to be able to use the Oculus Store. Open source VR, I love, and the more stuff that supports open source VR, the better. And I do think that platform is going to be really, 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 really popular, and probably be one of the major platforms that moves forward, that we'll see in the future evolve massively, along with Steam VR, obviously, because Valve support it. Liquid VR is the other thing I wanted to talk about very briefly. So that's the AMD-enabled VR technology stuff, and I've heard some really great stuff with that. They've partnered with Vive and Oculus and the Sulon as well, obviously, because it's an AMD device. But Liquid VR seem to be going the right way. They're trying to support everything, and I like to see that. I like to see these software platforms and these SDKs support as many products as possible, because then we all benefit from it.
Yeah, especially early on. Got to work with each other if you guys want VR to be a real thing and not flop like 3D did.
Yeah, it's obviously some of the companies are trying to put up barriers because they want their product to be the one that goes forward and to make more money, and that's business. But from a consumer point of view, obviously the more they work together, although competition is good, but the more open source they are, the better, because that creates innovation within software development.
Yeah. Even now, we see Xbox and PlayStation finally coming together to do cross-play. I mean, how long has that been?
Yeah. But, I mean, I suppose the flip side of that is that we do want the hardware to be innovated on. So some stuff being a bit more exclusive because their hardware needs, or because they've got their special hardware, so the IR tracking of eyes and that sort of stuff. Maybe that's a good thing as well.
Yep. Well, guys, that is it for today. I think we done covered every VR headset that's available right now, Bored. And everyone should be well prepared. Hopefully you guys took this video and make the right choice of what you want to get. Like I said, I wish I could hold out and wait. I just don't have the patience anymore. I gotta have it now.
Well, for me, it was definitely the Vive was the right choice, because it suits all my needs and gives me. It's going to support the titles that I want. The Oculus, it has got those extra games at release, but I don't care. I want Source 2 games. I want Star Citizen and that sort of stuff. And
yeah, it's funny because, like I said, I seen your video. I think that's one of the first videos I seen with was the VR, the DK2. And I was actually shocked that you went for the Vive over the Rift.
Yeah, so the Vive just has more functionalities that I want, and is going to be more supported by Steam, which is the other game I'm going to be playing is Source 2 games, other than Star Citizen and a couple of other titles. So yeah, the Vive for me, and I've just cleared 15 by 15 foot of space in my room.
Yeah, and like I said, even though it's like everyone says, oh, that one's $800, costs more than the Rift. If you think about it, you get the controllers, you have the camera on there, and I think the sensors are going to be better than the than the Rift. So just that together, I was like, well, extra $200. If it's gonna cost that much, I'd rather pay that much to get everything together. Because later on, you're gonna have to buy the controllers. No one knows how much the controllers for the Rifts are gonna cost. Even though I think they look better in my opinion because they got the analog sticks. I don't like the little touchy thingy, but who knows? I may change my mind when it gets here and I actually try it for myself. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think the Oculus Touch pistol gripped controllers are personal preference. So if you might want the Harry Potter wand of the Vive, or you might want the pistol grip of the Oculus. But for me, actually genuinely thinking about it, I really like the Vive controllers, and I like the fact they're all bundled into the pack, and I want everything that comes with the Vive. Whereas the Oculus, I don't want the audio headset. I don't want the Xbox controller. So
oh yeah, that's that forceful shit, man. But you know, there's probably some people who said the same thing with the Vive. They probably don't want the controller or the sensor. So you never know.
I'm sure there are. Yeah.
I just hope that you could switch those controllers back and forth. I don't know, because if Oculus is being like that with their own store, they might not even let you switch back and forth the touch controllers for a VR headset, which would be petty to me.
I don't know. I mean, there's a few bits and bobs we don't know. I mean, hopefully, as you said earlier as well, I mean, hopefully we've covered most of the headsets as well. I'm sure there's a couple of other little ones, like people will be like, why haven't you covered the HoloLens? Or stuff like that. Or why haven't you covered this headset that beams light into your eyes? I know that there are some VR-esque technologies and media technologies that are coming out that people that will say that are VR as well. But we haven't covered them because we don't know enough about them.
well, technically, we kind of did do the AMD has the Salon Q. That one has AR in it too. We forgot to even mention that. That's VR and AR headset, and it's wireless. So that may be a real good headset.
Yeah, the Salon Q is definitely the one I am watching the most at the moment, because a Tether 3 headset, that's the future, bro. I don't want those wires. If they can get the latency down and it's really high quality, that's what I want.
Yeah, I could see myself busting my ass on that, but time will tell.
Time will tell, Gio. Time will tell.
Well, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope everyone's informed, and maybe later on down the road, me and Bored to make another video with the newer headsets. Ain't no telling what'll be coming out time we make that video, but we both will have the Vive, so you guys can depend on honest reviews with that. His channel will be in the description. Once again, I hope you guys have an awesome day, and one more thing, gaming for life.